Hey, hey, hey. What's up, world? I just wanted to hop on real quick and do a Facebook Live because I'm a bit pumped up, which is another way of saying I'm really, really upset about something I've just heard from a client of mine. And I think this is something that a lot of pregnant women experience. So after having a bit of a debrief with her, I thought I'd hop on to live and have a quick chat about what you can do if you find yourself in this situation. Now, first of all, the situation is if you're declining or questioning a particular intervention, which could be a test during pregnancy. Sorry about the noise there. Or it could be an intervention during birth. But this particularly happens during pregnancy, and it's not okay. It's really not okay. So what happens is if you're questioning or you're declining or choosing to decline a test, then often you'll be met with some hostility. And first of all, I just want to say categorically that's not acceptable behavior from any health professional, and it's exceptionally unprofessional. Health 101, Healthcare 101 is respecting people's choices and bodily autonomy, informed consent. All of this is basic stuff that is covered in every health degree there is. Every single health degree. So every midwife, every doctor, every nurse, every allied health professional, everyone has done a unit at university on communication, respectful communication, and respectful care. And in particular, especially being here in Australia, having a multicultural nation, having culturally safe care. And culturally safe care is more than just cultural awareness. It's more than cultural competence. It's ensuring that every part of the environment is respectful of a person's culture. And culture is much more than just your ethnicity and your ethnic background. It's to do with your gender identity. It's to do with your personal beliefs. It's to do with everything that makes you, you. And this is a fundamental thing that is covered in every university degree in Australia. So I find it unacceptable when I hear stories of health professionals acting unprofessionally. And this is a really common story, unfortunately, for many pregnant women. And they feel quite bullied into accepting a particular test or intervention that they're not comfortable with for whatever reason. Now, I have a little strategy that I want to share with you, and this is a communication strategy. It's essentially a script, and scripts can really help us when we're outside of our comfort zone. So a script can give you a scaffold or a structure to how to approach that particular interaction with a person. So this is a little bit of conflict resolution as well. Now, if you are, often what will happen when you're wanting to decline something is the health professional, whether it's a doctor or a midwife, will ask you why. And by all means, explain why. But my challenge here is that they don't seem to feel the requirement for them to explain why you should do it. So my first question would be, why should I do it? Rather than you explaining why you don't want to do it. So the first step would be to get the conversation going. And it really is about opening the lines of communication. It's not about being adversarial. It's about helping to facilitate that communication. And quite frankly, they should have the skills to do this. You should not have to do this yourself. But it seems to be that we've come to that here in maternity care, where pregnant women need to gain the skills that a health professional should have in order to facilitate a productive communication with them. So the first question I would say is, can you please explain why I should do it, rather than me having to explain myself why I shouldn't? And by explain, I don't mean them ranting off the risks. I mean them providing actual information, not just coming out of their mouth, because one thing that we learn in health science is that verbal, when you're assessing a particular source, then you need to look at, you can see there, when you're assessing a particular source, you need to look at, who they are, whether they're backing their comments up with references, and often verbal communication is not backed up with any references whatsoever. So we do need to challenge that and get, really kind of question that and ask for references. So this is my strategy on how to kind of go through that conversation. Now the first thing, apart from, sorry, my piece of paper keeps falling on the ground. Okay, I'm going to hold it like this. Okay, so the first thing is, if they're asking you why you don't want to have a particular test or intervention, then the first step is to ask them why you should. And then follow that up with, could you give me more information rather than just your verbal explanation? So some kind of written material so that you can assess it properly. Now, usually whatever explanation they'll come up with, I would have this as my response, okay? So I would say something like, that's very interesting. Thank you for explaining. I know we shouldn't have to do that, kind of sucking up, but it helps, okay? What we're doing is we're actually agreeing with them. Someone automatically stops listening to you when you disagree with them. So by agreeing with them in our very first sentence, it's helping them to listen to your response. And yeah, it really shouldn't come to this kind of psychological manipulation, but it has. So this is just a communication strategy. So you make them warm to you and listen to you by agreeing with them first. So that's very interesting. I'd love to read more about that. Could you please provide your source? And then they will respond with either what do you mean by source, or they'll give you some additional information. Now, when I say, can you provide your source, I am essentially asking them for where their policy is that says what they've just said, or their guideline document, or if there is a study that justifies why they are recommending that particular course of action. So almost anything that is said when it comes to an intervention you could easily respond this way. That's interesting. I'd love to read more about that. Could you please provide your source? And then if they're not sure what you mean by source, and that would be surprising because they should know language like this, then you just say, so I mean your policy or your guideline document or the study that you're relying on when providing that recommendation. Now, 9 times out of 10, I have a feeling that most women will have this sort of response. The response will be something along the lines of, well, I just know, okay? Because it takes a bit of effort getting a source, finding the policy, finding the study that they're referring to. And they might well have a study in mind, but it's not good enough for them to just mention it. They need to actually provide the reference for you so you can go and read it. So 9 times out of 10, what they might say back is, well, I just know. I just know because I'm a doctor or a midwife or whatever they are, and you should listen to me because I have a degree, okay? So my response to that then, so just following this structure, is that's not good enough for me to say to you, so it's not good enough for you to say to me. I will only consider it if you provide me with a reference or a source. So that really puts the onus back on them to provide, to back up their claims and to back up their recommendations with evidence. And this is a huge topic in healthcare at the moment, evidence-based care. Everyone is purporting to provide evidence-based care. So this really isn't something new that they should, and it really is something that they should expect to provide. So that's my little tip for today. I hope that's helped a little bit, and it's helped me certainly to vent because I'm a bit frustrated that time and time again I have clients experiencing this conflict, and there should not be any conflict in maternity care. Conflict does not need to exist if people have the proper communication skills. And my opinion is health professionals are the ones who should have those skills, and they should learn them and develop them throughout their career, in their degree and throughout their career. But instead I'm finding I'm needing to teach my clients on how to have these skills so that they can make up the difference. Anyway, so I'm going to relax. My arm's getting sore, and so have a great afternoon. I hope that hasn't got anyone upset, but take a deep breath if you're feeling the same rage that I'm feeling, and drink some water. That's drinking water always makes everything better. And I hope you have a beautiful day, and I look forward to giving you more information to help you have a bold, beautiful birth. Bye for now.